What is up, my friends? How are we? And you are very welcome along to this Anfield Agenda news special, where, of course, we're going to be focusing on the Mohamed Salah situation. The Reds are now unbeaten in 4 games, 2 draws and 2 wins, and everybody has had their say on the Salah and Slot situation. Tonight, we're going to be giving you some of what former Liverpool players and pundits have had to say. We'll give you the very latest on the situation, but most importantly, we want to know your thoughts. Do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on this video if you enjoy it. And we hope to see you guys back soon for another stream. But for now, let's get stuck into what everyone's had to say. So look, we know Jamie Carragher has been critical and said something that I think was quite petty on social media today when he said, "I've never wanted Liverpool to win a game more. Come on, you red men." Look, we all want Liverpool to win every game, Jamie, but to try and prove a point for Mohamed Salah does feel a little bit petty. But ultimately, we did win, and I'm a happy Liverpool fan. So we know where Carra is on it. We know where Salah seemingly is on it. We don't really know where the club is. But this is what Daniel Sturridge has had to say on the Mohamed Salah situation. "Mo has told me, I love this football club. He doesn't want to leave, but he wants to play." So what I would say there is, great to hear that he loves the football club, but you've no divine right to play. You've got to earn the right to play. And the type of outburst that he had, well, I understand the frustration, and none of us are perfect. You kind of do have to earn your way back in at this point. I think this ends up in Salah leaving, but I'd love it to be fixed. I'd love him to stay. We'll move on to show you why I think he can still be effective moving forward. But I do think the club publicly will have to back the manager. And Arna's had a few bits to say after the game as well. Some of it a little bit cryptic, but it all kind of feels like if there is an apology, then maybe this could move forward. But I think behind it all, I really do think Edwards and Hughes probably want to cash in and move Mohamed Salah on. Has he been scapegoated? Yeah, he's probably been treated a little bit more harshly than others, but that outburst didn't help, particularly when it came off the back of a last-minute equaliser for Leeds. I've been torn on the situation all the way through. I do want Mo to be treated with the respect he deserves. I don't want the football club thrown under a bus, but ultimately there are no winners in this situation. The only winners are the media, who get to write the headlines, push the narrative. For us fans, we just want the Reds to win, and we did that today. Now, I did mention a second ago that I'm going to try and show you a way that maybe Salah could get back into this team, particularly in that new formation that we'd seen tonight. So according to StatMuse FC, Mohamed Salah has started 25 games as a striker for Liverpool in the Premier League, scoring 23 goals and assisting 5. So is there a world where he is one of the 2 strikers? It's something that we've talked about as fans for quite a while. You know, the ability for Salah when his legs go and he is slowing down a bit to become a striker. And if Arna's going to play with 2 strikers, Isak at the minute isn't pulled up any trees, so there's a chance there for Mo to maybe go in alongside Ekatike with Wirtz in the hole behind. It is possible, but he's going to have to show a willingness to put a hand of apology or a hand of friendship out to the manager. Clarence Seedorf, speaking, said this after the game: "People make things bigger than they are, seriously." He spoke about emotion. How can anything change after 9 years of Mohamed Salah? If there's any club that'll be united in the world, it's Liverpool. They'll internally solve this and work it out. And that's what we want. In all of these situations, when it's a he said, she said, and you're leaking something here, someone else is saying something there, it's all third party. Sit down in a room, look each other in the eye, and figure it out. And if there is a path forward, brilliant. If there's no path forward, be honest about that and find the best solution. But when the club is struggling, it benefits none of us. When we're pitted against each other, when the fans are pitted, manager one way, Salah the other way, we should be together as a group. You don't win anything as individuals. So let's hope that they can find a way. At this point, it feels like Mo's going to have to make that move. Arnie, you could say, could do it, but ultimately he didn't speak out. It was Mo. And if he feels like he can apologise and show some humility, I think there will be a path forward. But whether he does or not, whatever happens, it's still up in the air. So Virgil, speaking about Salah, said this after the game: "It's him airing his feelings over the past couple of days, and that's something the club has to deal with. Nothing has really changed. We have the responsibility to ourselves and to the fans to perform." And he's right. It is a team game, and yes, Salah has been an individual superstar, but ultimately his numbers do show a big drop off in work rate, in sprints, in effort. In tracking back, he ranks lowest of any of the wingers in the Premier League. So sometimes a little bit of self-reflection is needed. And, you know, when we're dealing with a male environment, a lot of the time egos are what's driving a lot of these things. That's why I'm so adamant that if you can sit down, look across the table from someone and speak to them, you'd hope we can find a path forward. And Arne Slot on If You Would Like Mohamed Salah Back said this: well, you say everyone makes mistakes in life, but the question is, should the players also recognise that as well? And should the initiative come from the player or me? Kind of posing the question there in who will make the first move? Who should make the first move? What do you guys think? Should it be Mohamed Salah that knocks on the manager's door and wants to have that conversation? Should Arne be the bigger man? Or should the club get them both into a room and figure it out? This is what will give us an indication of what is really at play here. Because if there is a path forward and they really do want it resolved, you'd have to think they can find a way. But if there isn't, and this isn't solved soon, it will probably only lead to one thing, which is Mohamed Salah leaving the club in a way that nobody wants to happen. If he ever does leave the club, and it of course will happen at some point, we want him to be with the big send-off that he deserves, not under a cloud of bitterness and frustration. Any athlete that gets to the levels that he did, Messi did, Ronaldo did, they're not going to get there without a firm belief in themselves and maybe a touch of arrogance along the way. But humility is an important factor in life, and Mo needs to realise that he did speak out. It was intentional. And I said before, if you ask me to back Salah or the manager, I'm backing Salah because he's more credit in the bank. But there's no winning in this situation. There's nobody covering themselves in glory. And Mo's going to, in my opinion, Mo's going to have to make that move and apologise. Whether he does so or not, I guess we're going to find out soon. There's been some talk that there's a meeting tomorrow that Richard Hughes is going to sit down with Michael Edwards, Mohamed Salah, and of course our manager, and figure it out. We should know more by then. But I want to know how you think this all plays out. Because despite everything I've said in this video, the back of my mind, I have to feel, and I do feel, maybe I don't have to feel, but I have to be honest and say I do feel that I can see a world where Edwards would be trying to cash in. And if we're going to look to a system that maybe isn't going to play with wingers anyway, like I said, it doesn't take too much imagination to think that maybe they think, okay, now we can offload him. Now his form isn't great. Now is probably the time that he's at his weakest. But then again, we're all talking about this with bits of information. Salah said that the club broke promises to him, but he never mentioned what those promises were. I can't imagine for 1 second that anybody guaranteed him they'd be playing every week. Nobody can get those guarantees. People I know are going to comment on this video and say flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. You said this, then you said that. Everything is an evolving situation. No opinion should be permanent, and everything should be based off the information. And we as fans haven't had the full information, but we can just give our opinion on what we see. So I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, Salah isn't, the manager isn't, but we all want the same thing. This football club to go in the right direction. And fingers crossed we can find a way for that to happen. Brighton coming up at the weekend. If we can win that, we'll be undefeated in 5. 3 wins and 2 draws. That's hopefully sending us in the right direction. So let's all hope that they can get their heads together and figure this out. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.